Hello there. I hope you don't mind the brief interruption to regular programming, but I wanted to share a quick update with you all regarding the podcast, and I wanted to let you know about the plans I have for the show. Towards the end of last year, life threw a few changes my way, and suddenly I had a lot more time on my hands. At the time, I thought to myself, well, David, you can twiddle your thumbs, or you can use the opportunity to start that Second World War podcast you always wanted to. And so, I dived headfirst into researching and writing, and then I grappled with the challenge of recording and editing, which, truth be told, was quite the effort. But I persevered, and on the 1st of January this year, I released the first episodes of my series on the Halber Pocket. When those first episodes launched, I wasn't sure if anyone out there would be interested in a show focused on the overlooked and underappreciated battles of the Eastern Front. But to my surprise and delight, the show struck a chord with people. And over the past 6 months, it's been incredible to see the audience grow. So I wanted to take a moment to say a genuine thank you to everyone who supported the Europe at War podcast so far. Whether you've listened, followed, shared the show, or left a rating or a review, it really means a great deal to me. Plus, it's been really humbling to hear from people who, through the podcast, learned for the first time about epic battles such as the Halber Pocket or the Battle of Bautzen. That's pretty cool. Up until now, the podcast has been an aggressive hobby of mine. That said, as the show grows, so do the time and resources needed to research, produce, and deliver the kind of quality content I know you've come to expect. Therefore, if you enjoy what I do and want to show your appreciation for the show, then you can support the Europe at War podcast via Patreon. If you visit patreon.com/Europe at War, you can become a supporter. And I've set up a few different options there, allowing you to choose what level of support you feel the most comfortable with. But truly, I would appreciate any support, as every little helps. Now, looking ahead, we've still got plenty of episodes to come on the Battle of Berlin, with a big bumper final episode in the works, which will not only cover the final stages of the battle, but which will also look at how Berliners struggled to rebuild their lives, both figuratively and literally, once the fighting was over. Once our series on Berlin has ended, I will then move on to telling the gripping story of the Battle of Leipzig. And whilst I won't spoil what's to come in that series now, I can promise you that the battle is fascinating for a whole host of reasons. Not least for the fact that it gives us a unique opportunity to cover a significant battle in Eastern Germany, which features American forces, and where there is no involvement of the Red Army in the fighting whatsoever. But don't worry, if you're a fan of T-34 tanks and Katyusha rocket launchers, they will come back to the show at a later date. So to wrap things up for today, thank you so much for listening to the podcast so far. And if you would like to support me via Patreon going forward, then I would be incredibly grateful. One more time, the address is patreon.com/Europe at War. And I've also put a link to the Patreon in the show notes. Thank you. That's enough from me. See you next week.